Welcome back. Please like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Hello, Jamie. Today, as the Trump administration continues to focus on American technology leadership, we have some interesting news about a new partnership. Microsoft and the Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula One team are working together to use artificial intelligence.
That is correct, Alex. This strategic alliance will change how the team works. Microsoft's technology will now be at the heart of the team's factory and their operations at the racetrack.
The timing is very important. In 2026, Formula One will start a new era. The rules will change to focus more on electric power and sustainability.
To prepare for these changes, the team needs to handle a massive amount of information. By using Microsoft's AI tools, Mercedes can now process all that data in real time.
Precisely. In the world of Formula One, every tenth of a second matters. This technology helps the team make faster and better decisions when the pressure is high.
It is not just about the race strategy, though. They will also use high-performance computing to improve aerodynamics, which is how air moves around the car, and general engineering.
This partnership sets a new standard. It shows how digital transformation can help experts reach excellence in one of the most competitive environments in the world.
It is a significant step forward. We will see how this AI technology helps Mercedes as they prepare for the future of racing.
Hello, everyone. Today, we are looking ahead to the year 2026. Market experts believe this will be a historic time for the global stock market.
That is right, Alex. They're calling 2026 the year of the hectacorn.
For our listeners who may not know, a hectacorn is a very rare type of company. It is a private business valued at over $100 billion.
Exactly. In 2026, we expect several of these giants to launch their IPOs. An IPO is when a private company starts selling its shares to the public for the first time.
We are talking about famous names like OpenAI and SpaceX. These companies waited for years to join the stock market. Why is this happening now?
There are a few reasons. Under the current administration of President Trump, there have been many changes to domestic regulations and trade. These shifts are creating a new environment for big tech.
Some experts believe the top artificial intelligence firms could even reach a value of $1 trillion. That is a massive number.
It is. However, this is also a major test. Investors want to see if the artificial intelligence boom is sustainable. In other words, can these companies keep their high value once they are trading publicly?
Even with recent changes in the market, investors seem very optimistic. They are watching these upcoming listings very closely.
It will certainly be a turning point for the technology sector. We will have to wait and see if these giant companies can meet the high expectations of the public.
Thank you, Jamie. It sounds like 2026 will be a year to remember for the global economy. Jamie, have you seen the latest news about gold? The prices are rising very quickly.
Yes, Alex, it is a historic moment. Gold is moving closer to the $5,000 mark. In this month alone, the price jumped by more than $500 an ounce.
That is a very large increase in a short time. What is causing this trend?
Financial experts say it is about uncertainty. Many investors are worried about the independence of the Federal Reserve. They are also concerned about the future of international trade.
I heard that President Trump recently stepped back from some tariff threats against Europe. Did that calm the market?
Not exactly. While that was a positive sign, the market remains very cautious. There is still a lot of pressure from inflation and changing global alliances.
So, are investors changing how they spend their money?
Yes, they are. Many people are moving their money out of the stock market because it feels too risky right now. Instead, they are buying hard assets like gold to keep their wealth safe.
It sounds like the $5,000 level is a major goal for the market.
It is. Analysts call it a psychological barrier. If the price reaches $5,000, it will show just how much people are looking for safety in today's economy.
It is certainly a situation that requires a calm and steady watch.
I agree. We will see if this rally continues in the coming weeks.
Good morning. Today we have some positive news from the financial world. Wall Street is seeing a recovery.
That is true, Alex. Both the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq futures went up this morning. This is a welcome change after a very difficult and nervous week of trading.
The reason for this gain is quite clear. It follows an announcement by President Trump at the World Economic Forum.
What did the president say to change the market's mood?
He spoke about the situation regarding Greenland. He ruled out the use of military force. And, importantly, he eased economic pressure on key U.S. allies.
So the fear of new trade penalties has decreased?
Exactly. Because of this, technology and manufacturing stocks are leading the gains. Companies are feeling relieved that trade routes across the Atlantic are becoming stable again.
It sounds like the administration is changing its approach. Are they still interested in Greenland?
Yes, the administration still intends to negotiate for the territory. However, they have decided to separate those discussions from immediate trade taxes.
That seems to be the key. By separating the territory talks from trade penalties, the markets have more clarity.
Precisely. For global investors, this move brings a much-needed sense of calm and steady growth. Hello, Jamie. Today, let's discuss President Trump's recent speech to world leaders in Davos.
Hello, Alex. It was a very firm address. The president spoke mainly about national security and his vision for American foreign policy.
I noticed he mentioned the Arctic specifically. What was his main point?
He argued that the United States must protect its interests in the region. He described the area, including Greenland, as a giant piece of ice that needs American protection from other competing countries.
So he sees the situation in Greenland as a long-term strategic investment.
Exactly. He believes that focusing on these northern areas is necessary for safety. This speech combined his usual focus on the economy with a new focus on territory and sovereignty.
How did the other leaders in the room respond to this?
Many European leaders were cautious. They stayed quiet and did not commit to his ideas. However, the message from the president was very clear.
It seems like he is moving toward a more transactional style of diplomacy.
Yes, that is a good way to describe it. He believes that by putting American interests first, he can create more global stability. For this administration, American security remains the most important goal.
It is certainly a significant shift in how the United States approaches international relations. Thank you for the summary, Jamie.
You are very welcome, Alex.
Hello, Jamie. There is some significant news today regarding international climate policy.
Yes, Alex. The United States government has formally announced its withdrawal from the IPCC. That is the global body responsible for assessing the impacts of climate change.
This move follows President Trump's earlier decision to leave the Paris Climate Agreement for a second time. What reasons did officials give for this latest step?
The administration stated that the U.S. will no longer participate in the group's activities. Instead, they prefer to focus on domestic goals. This includes the extraction of critical minerals and the expansion of national energy resources.
So the goal is to prioritize American industrial growth.
Exactly. The administration maintains that leaving the IPCC is necessary to remove regulatory barriers. They believe this will help the economy grow more quickly.
I imagine this has caused some strong reactions from the scientific community.
It has. International scientists are criticizing the move. They warn that without U.S. participation and data sharing, it will be much harder to monitor global environmental shifts.
It seems there is a clear divide between the focus on national industry and the concerns of global scientists.
That is correct. While the government focuses on energy independence, the scientific community worries about the long-term effects on global cooperation.
Thank you for that summary, Jamie. It is certainly a major change in policy to keep an eye on. Hello, Jamie. I was reading some news today about immigration enforcement in the United States.
Hello, Alex. Are you talking about the recent report on ICE detentions?
Yes, exactly. According to the latest data, the number of people being held by immigration authorities has reached a record high.
I noticed that too. One important detail in the report is that many of these individuals do not have any criminal records. They have no past convictions or current charges.
That is a significant shift in policy. In the past, enforcement usually focused on people who had committed crimes. Now, the priorities have changed.
It is a difficult situation. Many advocacy groups are worried. They say these detentions are hurting families and causing fear in local communities.
On the other hand, the Trump administration defends these actions. They say that stricter enforcement is a necessary measure for national security.
They also argue that it is about the rule of law. They believe everyone must follow the same rules, regardless of their history.
Because of these different views, there are many legal debates right now. We are seeing public protests in several states as well.
It really is a complex issue. The courts now have to find a balance. They must weigh the authority of the government against the civil liberties of the people being held.
It will be very important to see how the judiciary rules on these cases in the coming months.
I agree. It is a story that affects many lives across the country.
Hello, Jamie. Today marks a significant date in American history. It is the 53rd anniversary of Roe v. Wade.
That is right, Alex. In Washington, D.C. and across the country, many people are gathering to mark the day. However, the mood is very different depending on who you ask.
It is a complex situation. Since the 2022 Supreme Court decision, abortion is now banned or restricted in 22 states. The Democratic Women's Caucus recently released a statement on this.
Yes, they are very concerned. They believe these restrictions have created a healthcare crisis for many women. They argue that reproductive care should be accessible to everyone, regardless of where they live.
On the other hand, many supporters of the current laws are also speaking out. They are praising the changes. They believe President Trump's judicial appointments were a success because they returned legal authority to the individual states.
So for those supporters, this is a positive shift in American law. They feel the states should decide their own policies on this issue.
Exactly. These events in Washington show that the country remains deeply divided. One side sees a loss of rights, while the other side sees a victory for state power.
It is clear that even in 2026, this remains one of the most difficult debates in the United States. It affects politics, law, and the daily lives of many citizens.
It certainly does, Jamie. This anniversary serves as a calm yet serious reminder of the social fractures that define the American landscape today. Hello, Jamie. Today I read some very interesting news about the future of technology.
Hello, Alex. Is it about quantum science? I heard that field is moving very quickly lately.
Yes, it is. Researchers from Japan and the U.S. have found a new way to change how materials behave. In the past, changing these materials required a huge amount of energy. This was a problem because the high energy often damaged the materials.
That sounds like a major barrier for scientists. How did they solve it?
They found a shortcut using something called excitons. You can think of these as tiny, short-lived pairs of energy inside the material. By using these internal pairs, scientists can change the behavior of electrons much more easily.
So it is more efficient, and it keeps the material safe.
Exactly. It is a much gentler process. Because it uses less energy, it prevents the material from being destroyed during the experiment.
That is fascinating. What does this mean for the devices we use every day?
It is a big step forward. This discovery could help us build next-generation quantum computers and sensors. These new devices would be much faster and more powerful than the technology we have now.
It is impressive to see how scientists are finding smarter ways to improve efficiency.
I agree. It is a steady, logical step forward for the world of science. Hello, Jamie. I was just reading some fascinating news from the James Webb Space Telescope. It seems scientists have found something quite beautiful in deep space.
Hello, Alex. What did they find? The James Webb Telescope always provides such clear images of our universe.
They are calling them crystal-spewing stars. Specifically, they have been observing a young star called EC53, located in the Serpens Nebula.
Crystal spewing sounds like something from a storybook. How does a star create crystals?
It is a natural process. The telescope used its infrared instruments to look at the hot, inner part of the disk surrounding the star. This area acts like a forge. It creates tiny minerals called silicates, which are a type of crystal.
That is incredible. But do these crystals just stay near the star?
No, and that is the most important part of the discovery. The telescope captured powerful winds blowing these crystals away from the heat. The winds carry them to the freezing outer edges of the disk.
Is that where planets and comets are born?
Exactly. These crystals become the seeds for new worlds. By watching this happen in real time, astronomers can better understand the chemical recipe needed to create a planet like Earth.
So this discovery is like looking into a mirror of our own past?
Precisely. It gives us a direct link to how our own solar system was formed billions of years ago. It shows that the materials we see on Earth today were once traveling through the winds of a young star.
It is a very calm and steady reminder of how connected we are to the rest of the galaxy. Thank you for sharing that, Alex.
You are very welcome, Jamie. It is a wonderful time for space exploration.